Dr. Heidi Grant here with another episode of 3 Things to Do. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Now, today's topic is a really useful one. It's how to make yourself do something you just don't want to do. And this is a pretty good topic for around New Year's because, let's face it, New Year's resolutions are always about doing something we just really don't want to do. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to make a resolution about it, would we? There's some really important strategies that can help you get yourself to do that thing you've been dreading or putting off for forever. The first is really effective when you're afraid of screwing something up, and that's really the reason you're not doing it. When you're afraid you're going to screw something up, instead focus on the costs of doing nothing. Basically, you're still using fear, but you're now trying to make yourself afraid of something worse than doing nothing, right? And use that fear of that something worse to motivate you. So if you've been afraid, let's say, to put together the new bookshelves that you bought because you think there's a good chance you'll screw it up, instead focus on the cost of doing nothing, how that box is going to be laying around annoying everybody and you still have no place to put all your stuff. Focus your fears in the right way to motivate yourself to take action. Now, if it isn't really fear of screwing up that's stopping you, but instead it's just that you just don't feel like doing the thing, then my second piece of advice is to ignore your feelings. Make like Spock, because it turns out that your feelings are going to just get in the way here. In fact, there's nothing stopping you from getting started, even when you don't feel like it. Too often, we sort of buy into this idea that you need to feel like doing something in order to actually do it, and it's just not the case. The famous American artist Chuck Close once said, "Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work." And that's a really great encapsulation of what I'm talking about here. Ignore your feelings. Don't wait for inspiration. Just remind yourself that there's nothing stopping you. Just do it. And the third strategy you can use to help yourself do something when you really don't feel like doing it is when something's hard, boring, or unpleasant, use if-then planning. If-then planning helps us to reduce our reliance on willpower when something is really kind of annoying to do. What you do is break whatever it is you need to do down into steps and specify exactly when and where you're going to take each action you need to take. Face it, you're not going to want to do it later, but if you make a plan, you're much more likely to follow through on that plan than if you just sort of wait for inspiration or wait to feel like it. So break the job down into specific actions and make your if-then plans, and that's going to keep you sticking to your timelines and reaching your goals. So let's go over those 3 things to do to make yourself do something you don't want to do one more time. First, focus on the costs of doing nothing. What do you stand to lose if you don't take action? Second, ignore your feelings. Honestly, they just get in the way. You don't have to feel like doing something in order to do it. And finally, use if-then planning. Take hard, boring, unpleasant tasks and break them down into smaller steps, deciding when and where you're going to do each one. Thanks again for tuning into 3 Things to Do. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And be sure to share this video with anyone you know who might need a little bit of help doing something they just don't want to do, which again is pretty much everybody. See you next week.